Flow state might bring the most change to vintage since stock up. Welcome back, Vintage Gamers, to a Wednesday night on stream Vintage League. If you've been paying attention to the videos recently, you may notice that the number one question I have about the current vintage format is how does flow state change the meta? Is flow state good enough to change the meta? It does seem like the answer is trending towards yes. I think I haven't seen any really strong opposition to flow state since its introduction. Obviously, there were some haters on the preview, but since it's been played, I don't know, it's been in and out of different lists and different archetypes, and I think it has the potential here to be a game changer as much as stock up. Maybe I still don't think it's like as powerful as stock up, but it doesn't always go in the same decks, though tonight we will be playing in the same deck. We are trying to answer a bunch of questions, really. Does flow state change matchup spreads for a deck like Frog? Does flow state change matchup spreads for a deck like Doomsday? Does flow state make any decks on its own? And one of the things I pointed out in the initial review of flow state was that traditionally the deck that most wanted this kind of card was Tinker. And Tinker has seen a fairly large fall off in the last 3 or 4 years. So much so that very few decks in the format are playing Tinker Citadel instead of Luris. And I've always been a big proponent that that's not necessarily always going to be correct. It's just a metagame dependent call. And with Frog kind of taking a bit of a downturn, it's not, gone or anything, but Frog is not doing 30% of the metagame anymore. It's definitely lower than that now. The metagame actually somewhat balanced in terms of play rates at the top of the metagame. So as those heavy force decks turn down, maybe these Tinker decks have a chance to come back, or maybe these cards like Flow State and Stock Up make these Tinker decks have a better recovery from being forced themselves. So the last video I did a full Moxen Stock Up Flow State control deck. This time we're going to take what we learned from that video, which was the 4 Lorien, 4 Stock Up, 4 Flow State with a bunch of forces shell does feel good. So we're going to take that and go a different direction. Instead of playing very low win conditions, tons of removal, we're going to play some very powerful AB combos and try to end games quicker. So you see here we do have the Flow States, the Stock Ups, and the Lorien revealed, and our full Moxen shell. But where we're going to go is for classic Tinker Citadel. So we have, Demonic, Vampiric, Mystical, Tinker, and Citadel. We have classic Vault Key to go with our tutors with Manifold Key, Time Vault. Yawgmoth's Will as an additional recoup. Might not even be worth it, considering we have all of these blue spells now. We're going to choose to play a Karn and a Mentor. I do think Mentor actually a card that can benefit a lot from Flow State, having the ability to chain out spells with your Mentor. And then filling out some of the 1 mana slots with instants as much as we can, with Flusterstorms and tutors and swords and that kind of thing, because our cantrip base is going to be extremely sorcery heavy. Lorien is somewhere between a mana and a cantrip and a blue card that pitches a force. I think Lorien revealed might be the biggest winner of the Flow State introduction to the format, because I don't like playing Ponder. I find Ponder in Vintage to be not a very good use of your mana, and if Lorien and Moxen is the kind of replacement for Ponder in a deck that wants to play Flow State and Stock Up, I think it makes a lot of sense. And it kind of reminds me of when we had 4 Sagas and the Luris decks were playing full Moxen and Loriens. That might be something that we might be trending back towards if you want to enable a deck with Stock Up and Flow State. So sideboard, we're going to max out our removal spells. We'll be a little bit weak to mono white and Esper and stuff in the main, but we're maxed up on our removal spells on the board. some anti-artifact, anti-combo, a variety mix of graveyard hate just to make it hard for Dredge to sideboard, but also having a bunch of artifact graveyard hate I think is important, especially if you have a main deck Karn. Though you will be warding out Karn a lot in many sideboard matches. And then because we have that main deck Karn, I actually really like the idea of having some of the Tinker package, Sphinx and Portal. I really dislike Citadel against the mono white deck. I feel like they have way too many ways between Void Mirror and Archon to make it bad for you. So I like having the option of boarding into the Portal against mono white and sometimes the Sphinx as well. Getting a blue card off of your Karn can be very good as well. So lots to think about right now in Vintage. I haven't... So like the only deck that I don't feel like wants to try to play Flow State is Lurrus PO. Because Lurrus PO, Flow State is in your Thundertrap Trainer spot, and I think Thundertrap Trainer just fits the deck much, much better. So I think like that's the big loser here is Lurrus PO, especially because if Flow State helps Frog grind out against stock up decks, then that's a big loss as well. So trying lots of different experiments in Vintage right now. Flow State League round 1 coming up right after this. I am happy to announce the dates for high-stakes, proxy-friendly Vintage in 2026. The legendary NYSE returns to Long Island in New York on June 6th. This $500 entry fee tournament will pay out 8 pieces of unlimited power. The Oklahoma Land Run returns in 2026 on July 10th through 12th at the Reed Convention Center in Oklahoma City. Play Friday Team Trios, Saturday Legacy for a Mox Sapphire, and Sunday Vintage for a Mox Emerald. Event links can be found in the description below. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. Welcome to round 1 of our Vintage League with Esper Tinker. I don't have a cat. I do have Lorien Revealed Moxen, which is a nice little combination here. One thing I did not mention in the intro was I chose not to play a Surveil land here. I'm just a little concerned with like the mana situation and Lorien Revealing and fetches and that kind of thing, as well as like being able to have your untapped mana source for flow states and stock ups. So I chose not to play it. But if you chose to play a Surveil land here, I would not fault you at all. It's going to be very good later in the game for sure. This is going to have to be a basic island fetch, though, with our Lorien revealed. Right. Opponent did not reveal a cat as well, so this Flusterstorm could be anywhere from awful to amazing. We'll see. Mox. At least it's not Dredge. Ancient Tomb. Raker or Sphere or Jewel. Could be blue Tinker as well. Yasi style. Tez. I like just countering these Tezes. I find it to be pretty annoying when I don't. Like, they can do things like get Vexing Bauble and turn off the force anyways. I think if Vexing Bauble didn't exist, I would probably counter a lot less Tezzerettes. But the fact that every Tezzeret can just get a Vexing Bauble and turn off the Force of Will that you held makes it kind of gross. So I'm going to force this Tezzeret. And what this will also do is give me an instant to go with my sorcery. So I can flow state and be happy. What else you got? Mana Vault. Okay. Jeez, more? Scrawly Crawly. Okay, so we're definitely playing against Raker. Flow State and Stock Up both are draw spells that do not actually draw cards, which is nice. Thank you, Nami. Welcome back. 81 months. Okay. Not really. You should not really play a Mana Vault inside of an aggressive deck. Neither should you play Tezzeret, so I think it's 100% to be Raker. Mana Crypt, Time Vault, Brainstorm. I think we have to take Mana Crypt. I'm just going to go with Mana Crypt, Time Vault, and try to go through that way. Notably, Scrawling Crawler quite good against Vault Key, especially with Mana Crypt in play, but what am I going to do? Yo, thanks, Rodrigo. There's our Tinker. So we have a win on the next turn here, if we get a next turn. And I guess it's not a lock because opponent can't, I will take damage for the first 14 or 11 turns, but we should have, we don't have that many ways to remove it, but we should have enough. We'll see, though. Depends on if opponent plays like a Karn or something here. Tezzeret. They're going to get a Vexing Bauble. I feel like that would make a lot of sense to play around PO. Oh, they're going to untap Mana Vault. That's a bad sign. Is it a ring? Oh, that's okay. So this means we can kill through the ring because we have the ability to do Citadel, Yogwill, Citadel. We just need to remove this Scrawling Crawler and we win the game for sure. But we have, like I said, we have 13 or 10 turns based on this Mana Crypt flip. It's 10 turns. All right. I will tinker my Mana Crypt, go get a Manifold Key, and take an extra turn. And we'll go to my next turn. I'll lose a life. There's a Mystical Tutor, which will get us a Source of Plowshares when we get enough white mana. Let's just start with a Flow State. There's a Source of Plowshares, so now we just need white mana. So let's get this, and then this is 3 mana, so I can stock up. And there's a Tundra, and I'll just take lands. All right. Take another damage. But notably, none of our draw spells that help us find answers draw cards because they're all stock ups and flow states. How do we beat the One Ring? I just told you. We are going to Citadel activate twice with Yogwill. They're out of here. We don't even need to win versus the One Ring. We can just pass the turn with 7 counter spells, bounce all their permanents, whatever. But yeah, we can actually win through it. So, I mean, I don't think Scrawling Crawler was ever very good at doing that, at stopping that kind of spot. Why do I have a Prismatic Ending in my deck? Hello? Oh, God, what? Well, we have another answer to Scrawling Crawler and things. I got baited by the random X spell 10 columns to the right. Okay, well, good to know. Good to know. I don't like your list, Jess. I'm sorry. Your list is a blue control deck that has a Tinker in it. This list is a Tinker combo deck. They are doing different things. So we're playing against Raker. We're definitely bringing in Consign and Trap. Then we have a question of, are we bringing in Swords and Hercules? And Needle is definitely in. So the question, I don't think we're going to bring in Portal. I only like Portal against Crawler, but not against Fleshraker. We can take out Island. We can take out Flusterstorm and Probe. We can take out Wobble. And we can get 1 card in, at least. I like Swords. I like Swords like a lot more than Prismatic Ending overall. Just having instant speed answers to Raker, which is the problematic card, seems important. And I still like having access to Vault Key. Sensei's Top still seems fine. So is there a way I can fit in 1 more Swords without compromising anything here? Maybe just 1 flow state. Do a quick blue check. 3, 7, 11, 15, 18, 22, 26. Wow. When you get to play 4 flow state, 4 stock up, 4 Lorien, 4 force, you end up with a lot of blue cards, which is nice. This hand does not have force, does not have blue mana. We'll mulligan. This hand has force, and it has blue mana, and it has some white spells. But technically, if we don't have the force, we do have white mana. The chance we don't have to force is usually fairly low. No, I'm not a huge fan of negation against Raker, but it hits enough things. Oh, what the? Huh? We got the sideboard sphere resistance. So maybe Chess is right. Maybe we are playing against prison shops with Crawler and Mana Vaults. That'd be pretty surprising. We could also be playing against Raker with sideboard sphere resistance. So I have to negate this because I don't have any mana if I let that resolve. If they have a second one, it's pretty bad for me. It might just be Raker with sideboard spheres. That is a thing that I've seen people do. I don't really agree with it, but it is a thing I've seen people do. So yeah, this is a manifold key, so it's definitely Raker. Just very surprised by a sphere. I don't think sphere is like particularly good against my deck. But it's a thing that can happen here, so our best thing is to like spin into a tinker here. I'm gonna have a lot of mana. Monastery Mentor. Let's see. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'd like to be holding open sphere swords on this next turn. And I guess I can still draw with top, play Mentor, and have a Ruby. So maybe it's fine. I could play Ruby and then do the top trick where I spin top, hold priority, draw with top. But I don't think that's actually worth it. So let's just go Tarn, Mentor, Tundra, draw with top, and play this. Next turn, we can draw with top, play this Academy, draw with top, play Mentor, and play Mox at least. So we are obviously cold here to Time Vault, but that's just how it is sometimes. Ancient Tomb. Nothing else. I wonder if they have Mindbreak Trap. Let's go Sensei's top. Tolarian Academy. Make mana. Draw with top. Monastery Mentor. They didn't have a creature last turn. I'm not worried about a creature this turn. Get another creature and play with my Mox. Next turn, we have a top. Every turn, we can draw with top to get an extra spell for Mentor. One of the classic combinations for synergy. And we have a removal spell. So as long as we don't get Time Vault keyed. Another mana source for the opponent. And another pass. It's a good sign. All right. Top. Yield to all here. Spin our top. Yogwill Flow State. Flow State sounds fine. Even obviously we're not doing very much with this flow state, but I just want to increase the clock by as much as possible. Lorien revealed stock up. Okay. Definitely killing our opponent next turn here. We're probably just killing them with just the Sensei's top, to be fair. 2 by 6 plus 1 for every spell. So the first spell is 5. So 11. Exact lethal with just top. All right, nice showing for Monastery Mentor. Opponent must have kept a pretty weak hand, considering we negated just a Sphere of Resistance and they had no follow-ups. I don't know what that means. But Mentor Top is still a powerful thing if you can get it online and not die. Obviously, we were super cold there to a variety of different combinations from the opponent, but sometimes you gotta make them have it. All right, onward to round 2 on the draw against a possible Dredge player. This is not a terrible hand. It's not a good hand either. Karn does represent Dredge hate. We just are a little bit mana short. We do have the ability to play top, spin top, and attempt to Ancestral, and then stock up. So, like, there's a way. We're also just, like, a mana crypt away from playing Karn. We don't have a Mana Vault in our deck, for what it's worth. Because I don't think you're supposed to play Mana Vault outside of PO. Or, I guess, if you're casting Gifts Ungiven, maybe. There's no Vigor in the main of Dredge, for the most part. I'm not too worried about that. Vigor is mostly relegated to sideboards. He's pretty weak against Trap, though. There's some traps in the main of some of these lists. But it's also, it's not like the most weak to Grief, but it's not great against Grief either. I don't want to like mulligan and then have like a hand that has one card that's good and then get griefed is my problem. That's the thing I'm the most worried about. Whereas our hand has a lot of power. If they get, I'm gonna try keeping this. Under the assumption it's likely to be Dredge and that we don't need to have force. I'll try keeping this. My opponent has mulligan to 4, so it does look like it's Dredge. Sorry, my nose is going crazy. I should go blow it. Opponent has mulligan to 2. My opponent has... They kept a 2-carder. Are we going to lose to a 2-card hand? That'd be exciting. All right, they kept a 2-card hand. 1 Bizarre. Binning Hollow 1 Negation Negation. So no Dredger yet. Not a blue card. Not a blue mana. Don't have to worry about Trap now. If we find a blue mana. Got a blue mana? We do have a blue mana. We have Black Lotus. Interesting. If we were to draw Lotus, crack Lotus, Mystical for Tinker, and cast Ancestral, we would have to hit 2 mana. That's not very good. Let's just draw Tundra and then draw into Lotus and go for Tinker on the next turn. Unless I'm missing something here. Opponent should activate Upkeep, and so there's nothing they can really do to stop us, so... Still don't have a Dredger. Alright. Mystical. Tinker. Blue. Probably want to keep the blue. Tinker my Ruby into a Bolus's Citadel. We've got a Citadel, and we have a top as well, so... Instant and Sorcery. We'll cast a Flow State. Let's take... Forced Tundra, I guess. Lorien Revealed is probably worse than just Sensei's Top. Not going to play a land drop. We want to have the ability to play a Tolarian Academy. Does he Vampiric do anything right now? I mean, he can get Yogwill, which has Tinker. Okay, I think we can get a Vault Key right here with this Vampiric for Yogwill. Vamp, Yogwill, Yogwill, Ruby, Lotus, DT. I will get a key. I will play a key, and then I will Tinker into a Time Vault, and then I will just take infinite turns. Yeah, I guess we can keep going if our opponent wants us to. Let's just go to the next turn. See if they were not paying attention, and I can just keep... okay. I guess I can just do Karn Sphinx. That's a pretty easy way to go about this. Just show them Sphinx, but Try to figure out what card shows them the least. Do I want them to know about Mentor? I mean, I could just get Urza Saga. I could draw until I find Urza Saga. That would show them the least amount of things, but they're going to say this is good enough. Some Dredge player who didn't keep 7. I feel bad for them. Here we go. We got... Oh, yeah, we just attack with Citadel. Yeah, that's true. That would show them the least as well. All right. Jailer, Lantern, Needle, Crypt, Containment Priest, and Sphinx. Island, Ending, Bauble's still good. Misstep, Swords, Probe, and Negations. So we can keep Probe. Karn. So I guess at that point we're keeping Swords. Do I want to bring in more Swords if I have more cards that I don't think are very good? Is a Swords better than a Probe? Our opponent's deck has shown us counterspells, traps, and vigors, likely. So there's definitely some value in Probe. I think I'd rather have a Swords, though. Let's go with this. All right, we got a variety of hate, and then we also still have all of our combo, so I would assume this matchup is quite good for us. All right. We've got a Force, a Bauble, and a Lantern. Seems reasonable. Might not be fast enough, depending on our opponent's draw. 7-card keep from the opponent this time. Triple Dredger. Hollow one. I'm going to force the Hollow one. Because I'm going to play a Bauble, so... Draw another Force anyways. Tundra, and I want to play a... I guess I can just play a Lantern, because I have a Force. So I should probably just play a Lantern. I have a Negation, so I should have played a Bauble. I mean, what else am I forcing in this game besides, like, a reactive spell to this Lantern anyways? So I could have had Flusterstorm up. I don't have mana, so don't really like that much either. So they do have Negation, pitching Negation. I've got Force, pitching Fluster. I'm going to resolve this and get rid of a Stinkweed Imp. And I'm going to hold this Lantern for the highest value activation. They're going to natural Dredge, try to get me to pop. Didn't have very many good hits there. They'll Dredge 5, hit a Chill. No Narcomoeba, no Prize Amalgam. I think I Dredge 4. It doesn't say. Yeah, Dredge 4. This is a second Chill, and there's an Amalgam, a Narcomoeba, 2 cards left. No Icarids. I feel like it's so hard for them to rebuild from here. What did they not pitch? No, they pitched back the Thug and the Imp. So the thing I'm thinking here is I don't have to Lantern. My opponent is bringing no creatures back. They're just hitting me with 2 chills. The thing is, if they slow Dredge next turn and they hit Grave Troll and I have to crack anyways, it's like pretty bad for me, right? So I might as well just hit this whole yard. I do need like extra help here to get out of this, but... They have 2 cards left in their hand. 20 cards have been exiled now. But if I can get a Mentor going, it'll be fine. We'll see. I don't know. I could you know, end up regretting that play. We'll see. If Vexing Bubble means they're not playing any more spells, though. So that's something. But we have to crack it to get enough cards here. Especially if they like pitch so many cards here, then ooh, Icarid Imp Shell. That's quite strong. 2 Icarids. I'm gonna activate my bauble. That's not a very good draw. All right. We might be in a rough spot. Dredge 4. They milled over a Grief and another Icarid and an Amalgam. So they're getting 2 Icarids back this turn and an Amalgam. It's quite good. Yeah. I mean, it's not looking good, but that's because my opponent's last 3 cards after they activate were Icarid, Dredger, Dredger. After they pitched both Dredgers that we knew they picked up. And, like, if my opponent slow Dredges a Thug, I'm probably going to have to crack anyways, right? And then they're going to have the ability to... I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't good. Like, hitting, like, all of their highest value Dredgers and making them start completely fresh. They hit a hollow one? Ay, ay, ay. We're super dead here. Oh, maybe not. Unfortunately, my lantern is in my yard. So I'm not even sure I have a good DT target here. Because Needle is not going to do it. Not with quadruple Icarid in the yard. We really need to be able to Yogwell, but we're not going to be able to do that. It has to be Ancestral into more cards, right? Oh, I did put a Tormod script in my deck. When did I do that? I didn't even realize I did that. I'm so good at this game. Oh, it's because I have a Karn. I put a crypt and a lantern. That's gonna get rid of 4 Icarids. Okay, yeah, I mean that's pretty good. And I have 2 monk tokens. And then I have to hit this now. Do I want to attack with my 4/4 mentor? Probably not. We are going to still need like some spells off the top, but we do have Flow State online. Opponent's going down to 16 cards left in library. Here's a Stinkweed Imp down to 11. They hit Narcomoeba Amalgam? Holy hell. That's not good. I don't have I don't have a Tabernacle. Mana Crypts. I guess I lost. Yeah, I mean, this comes down to that Lantern Crack. I guess the Lantern Crack was bad. Pretty unfortunate. Those are some hell of a dredges from the opponent, though. I don't know. Like, at the time, my logic made sense to me, but looking back, it does seem like it was quite poor. They had no Icarid, so, like, I didn't have to. Yeah, but, like, I'm giving my opponent too much agency, aren't I? Like, if I crack there, if I don't crack there, they have full agency. I don't like it. I don't like it very much. But I don't know. I do think it was wrong. I just trying to work through why what I felt was like reasonable logic didn't work. I think I got a little baited by seeing the 2 cards they dredged put back into the yard. Because, like, you could maybe think that their hand contains non-dredgers, right? Because they pitched the cards that they dredged. But their hand was, like, super strong after. All right. That's got to be game winning, right? Surely. Surely Needle with Force Backup on the play is good. I'm not going to play this Sapphire because I don't want to turn on Mind Break Trap. Yeah, I know, but like they still need to like rebuild completely from zero. The fact they were able to rebuild in one turn was pretty substantial. Like, after getting rid of Grave Troll and all their Stinkweed Imps is like pretty crazy, right? Do I play around? Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to play the Sapphire out here. Are they going to try to pitch to hand size? They exile 15 cards on Serum Powders to keep a 7-card hand. Looks like they are. Time Vault. Let's go get an Underground Sea and cast a Stock Up. Soul Guide, Lantern, Flusterstorm, Time Walk, Monastery, Mentor. Let's go with Lantern, Flusterstorm. This will protect my Needle. Gonna wait on this Lantern till the turn after so that we can hit their first thing they put in the yard. Have not closed this game out yet, but it's a decent spot. They could get me pretty good with, I guess they can't get me with a Grief because they need to pitch that. They just pitched a Shambling Shell to hand size. Really? A Shambling Shell? That's gotta be like your weakest one. Here's what it is. We have a lethal Vamp Tutor though, so. This game is now over. What is the Vamp for? The card that wins the game. Manifold Key. Yeah, so I think this could have been a 3-0 if I played my game 2 better. I'm surprised that I talked myself into cracking the Lantern. I'm not really surprised because, like I said, I still think the logic there does make sense, but I guess the heuristic is just that is not enough. It needs to be more. So I guess one thing to consider here is I've been playing a lot of Lurrus. And you can crack Lantern a lot more aggressively when you have Lurrus because you get to loop the Lantern back. And this deck does not have Lurrus. So that does change things quite a bit. Okay, on to round 3. We got a Lurrus reveal from the opponent. I have a classic Lorien reveal to Larian Academy hand. If my opponent had not revealed Lurrus, I might keep this hand on the back of my Double Force. But Double Force is pretty bad against a lot of Lurrus decks. And so is bad mana, so keeping this hand would be auto losing to Frog, and I don't think that's acceptable, especially as Esper Frog is currently the most played deck in the format. So we're going to mulligan this hand and see if we can't find something a little bit more robust. Opponent, where are you at, opponent? What's going on? Good luck, have fun. Maybe they went on a break. Okay, here we go. Mulligan. Keep. This hand's much better. Get rid of one of the forces. Shouldn't need to. Delta. tells me nothing. Pearl tells me nothing. Tundra. Lavinia. Okay, I guess I have to force this. I feel like stock up's so much more powerful than probe that even if it gets forced back, I still think I'd rather, still think I'd rather have this stock up. Lavinia. In our year 2026, huh? Lorien revealed. This is a spot I will be sad to not have my meticulous archive, but unfortunately the stock up is like super poor into opponent holding open like Spell Pierce Bowmaster, but nope. And I talked about why in the intro. You can always go back and watch that. Man. They didn't even buy Luris, so we're like 100% to get Spell Pierced. How do I even like recover from that? I guess I could Lorien Revealed Cycle and maybe hit like Flow State or something. I mean, it could be, yeah, it's like, I mean, it could be blue-white. It's true. No. Jordan, please stop rage baiting, man. Like, magic cards are versatile, and some decks want some that others don't. Is Black Lotus bad because Dredge doesn't play it? Like, please be serious for like half a second. I'm gonna just pass here, I think. I'm gonna play my land and pass. I feel like if I place, what is Ancestral? I'm an idiot. Of course they don't have Spell Pierce. They have Ancestral Recall. My bad. Oh, I get to cast my stock up now. Small victories. I mean, getting stock up forced is a lot better than getting it Spell Pierced. So my opponent's hand was turn 1 Lavinia, turn 2 Ancestral. Not bad, not bad. On the play. So we get to see if they want to put 2 cards into our stock up. They do. Negation, pitching, mental misstep. Okay. And now my opponent starts to make construct tokens. We are just super far behind in this game after a mulligan and having to force Lavinia. Opponent resolving Ancestral. We are infinitely far behind. It's going to be very hard to win. Mox Jet. And a Wasteland. And Saga Gaming. Yeah, I mean, this probably gets Vexing Bauble, I would assume, unless they already have a force in their hand. And that basically completely takes away most of our outs. This is a lot of the reason why I never really liked playing these Esper Tinker decks, is because sometimes you play against these controlling decks and you just have no game. I'm not going to play around main deck Needle. Just going to let this thing happen. Though I guess if it was a mirror, I might play around main deck Needle. As long as I get Vexing Bauble, I basically have no outs. Whereas if they don't get Vexing Bauble, I can Lorien Revealed for a land and maybe hit Tinker. Vexing Bauble stopping Bolas' Citadel is quite problematic. Can still get like Monastery Mentor, but it's too slow. It's too slow. No cantrips. So maybe this is just blue-white, where we've seen double Tundra. Maybe the jet might just be for Lurrus. So my best draw is Ancestral, Low State. That's a good reason to have cycled Lorien Revealed. Not bad. Did not include a dress down in my deck, so I don't have a clean answer to construct tokens. I have a swords and a prismatic ending. Low state Yogwill vamp. I think the answer is I'm jamming another flow state here because I don't know that this vamp is going to be castable. So I guess I should have taken the other card. What was it? Yogwill? Should have taken the Yogwill. This vamp is not actually castable. So should have taken the Yogwill. Stock up Saga Soul Ring. Saga's not gonna do it. So Soul Ring stock up it is. Dead to a whole heck of a lot of everything. Another wasteland. Yeah. And cruise. Surely we're supposed to wasteland cruise first so that we can theoretically draw into a like a bauble, a lantern or something to try to kill me. But it's fine. Yeah, no probe. Not for 0. All right, what is my sequence here? Drew back the Yogwill. I mean, one removal still doesn't do it, so it's just gonna have to be stock up into like Time Walk Tolarian stuff. Time Walk Tolarian, Mentor, or something. That's got to be our line out of here, which is achievable. Black, white, Bowmaster. Yeah, whatever. I won. So they are Esper. Interesting turn 1 Tundra fetch with a Pearl out. I mean these cards are these cards don't do anything. Okay. Yeah, kind of a brutal one. We got fell behind super early. Mulligan plus on the draw plus turn 1 Lavinia that had to be forced. The good news is we have swords and portable hole and probably just taking out some negations. Vamp and mystical. Like that a lot. What's wrong with that? Gives us some extra frog disruption, but gets rid of a bunch of card disadvantage, and negations don't have a really good target, especially because we can't really play at instant speed on their turn like a PO deck could. Interesting. I am not convinced this is a good hand. Does this hand cast Tinker on turn 1? Pearl, Soul Ring, Emerald, 2 mana, 3 mana, DT down to 0, 1 colorless mana, Lotus, Yogwill, Lotus. No, it doesn't. What could I DT for that doesn't lose to Wasteland? I mean, I'm just supposed to DT for Tinker. I really don't want to put this hand back, but I'm not sure that this hand is good, is my problem. Is it even good if they don't? I don't even know, like... I don't even know. Probably should have sequenced this with the... I'm not DTing for land, I'm lowering revealing for land. I guess I could DT for another land, but... Not even sure that's good. I have a Yogwill. I mean, this could just get negated, to be fair. My opponent has like 8 forces in their deck typically, right? So, it's tough. 7 forces usually. Yeah, negation, pitching, force of will. All right, well, I have no more action, but at least I guess my deck is all action, right? So... Kind of almost hoping I get wastelanded here to slow the game down. Don't actually have flow state turned on unless they play. Yeah, I'm gonna mental misstep this probe, so they don't know what's in my hand, and so that if I draw flow state, it's turned on. Am I getting turn 1 Laviniad for 2 games in a row? No. I'm getting turn 1 Frogged? Yeah, I guess so. I guess I lose. My bad. Brutal double Mox games. Or brutal turn 1 Mox games from my opponent here. Extremely brutal. I could have mulliganed my hand, but kind of hard to pass up that kind of action. Or that kind of mana, I should say. And a wasteland, too. All right. That's a good draw. Certainly a good draw. We still need so many things before we can play the game. Still looks really bad. My next best draw is probably Mentor. Are they gonna pass without buying Luris? Okay, pass without buying Luris. Worst is one of the worst draws we have, for sure. No Surveil land either. I don't feel good about our spots. Vexing Bauble. Sure. Swords is not a bad draw. Almost makes me wonder if I should have Yogg-Willed for another Lorien. Wait, I can't actually cycle Lorien Field. Never mind. Now there's a spell bomb in place, so my Yogg-Will is turned off. And I can just cycle that one. That draw is terrible. So even with adding a bunch of draw spells to your Tinker deck, you still have these awful sequences here where your top decks are just terrible. It's just not good. Ay, ay, ay. This is a lot of the reason why I stopped playing Tinker-oriented decks, was games like this. I can't even Swords to Plowshares this Lavinia because I have no lands. Yeah. And even if I get a land, it's getting wastelanded. What a good time. They haven't even bought Lurrus and started cycling spell bombs yet. They have a frog as well. All right, cool. We've been bested. Yeah, I don't know. I think the answer is I was just supposed to mulligan the hand. It's just too weak. You can't be keeping 5 restricted cards in Vintage. Okay, here we go. Round 4. Let's see what we can do. Opponent looks like they have a cat. We've got a solid hand. Definitely interested in this hand. This hand has nice restricted mana as well. Let's see. I think I like... What do I like here? Am I getting mental misstep? Jesus. That is not good for me. Maybe I just jam an Unprotected Tinker. We'll see. Could Mystical for a force. If they're on like Pio or something. Kind of interesting spot, actually. Black Lotus, sure. Are you also going to play turn 1 Lavinia against me? No. I'm going to Mystical. I just don't know what I'm Mysticaling for. It's pretty bad to play Mentor or Ancestral here because of Bowmaster. It's pretty bad to play Tinker or Stock Up because of Spell Pierce. I think everything is bad, actually. Everything seems bad. I guess I wasn't supposed to Mystical. Because nothing is good. I guess I could get Flow State. It also gets Spell Pierce, though. Wow. This is not good. Wow, I think Ancestral is like uncastable. There's just like no instance where you're actually allowed to cast Ancestral here. Your opponent will know they have Ancestral. Just beat the Bowmaster after. I like how you think. I wish I believe. Well, I think holding it up forever is like unplayable. These are all bad. I think these are all bad. I believe I was not supposed to cast Mystical Tutor. Get Demonic. So worse than a chess comment. I'm gonna go freaking mentor, and they're gonna go like double bowmaster. But like I can't go stock up. And passing is pretty bad too, right? I guess passing's not bad if they actually play a bowmaster. It's super scuffed. Well, I think like playing mentor is like really bad. It just lets them just remove it, and I get no value. You know? I think the answer is to Ancestral on their upkeep. Don't I want to stock up? Not if I'm getting Spell Pierce. Isn't that like a game-losing play? Do you not feel that's a game-losing play? That just resolved. Okay. So they had no Bowmaster, and they had no counterspell that was not negation. Or Spell Pierce. Okay, and now we have Force Fluster. If we can hit a land, I think we're probably in a great spot. We're seeing ghosts? No, we're playing around magic cards to Jordan. That's how you get better at this game. You think, what can my opponent have? And how can I best play around it? Esper, huh? It's just Esper Frog. Okay. I want to see land here. Or Swords to Plowshares. Oh my god, chat. I should not have left open Tundra. I mean, it signals that I could play Swords and Plowshares, but I should just have left open Island so that I can't get Wastelanded. I think the thinking led me to jam the correct spell. Like, I actively think if you chose Mentor or Stock Up there, you are throwing a huge percentage of games away. Oh my god. It's fine. Whatever, chat. You don't want to get better. You want to troll in chat. Do your thing. Yeah, look at this. Look at this play. I've called it right away that I tapped the wrong land. Not that these Fluster Storms are actually useful anyways. They should have double swords. Alright, well, we got a monk token out of the deal. This is why I don't like playing creatures. Could have stranded all my opponent's swords. Flow state. I mean, I guess if I get Spell Pierce, I get Spell Pierce at this point. These Fluster Storm just does nothing because of this Black Lotus, huh? I guess if they hard cast Negation, I could have played, you know, I guess that's the problem. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to play Flow State because of hard cast Negation. I didn't think about that until I cast it. I mean, they could have drawn it off their turn plus their frog hit. There's been a lot of time since then. I think I like Underground Sea Mana Crypt the most here. I think we've gotten like too rage baity, too sarcastic. I'd like to maybe bring it back to something more reasonable. Because if I like talk about my play and try to figure out the best possible line, and one person wants to, actually find the answer to that question, and 5 people comment sarcastic things that don't have any, value, I have to filter through 5 sarcastic comments that don't have any value to try to help the one person who wants to learn. You know? I feel like that just makes the whole product worse for all of us. Is a Lorien revealed? Jesus. Oh, could have Flusterstormed that. Opponent has 6 cards in hand now. Bowmaster can just kill my monk token. Okay. So my way out of this game is Tinker with Vobble Protection. That's my way out. I have Flusterstorm Protection, so I could crack Bobble as well. Okay, I no longer have a Tinker out. I have a Black Lotus out, I guess. I don't have like Mox Opals or anything in my deck, so it's actually quite hard to it's actually, I don't think I can really cast Bolus to Citadel very well. I have a bunch of Underground Seas, but it's probably my last draw of the game. Either win or lose off this one. I don't know, man. Like, I put all of these extra draw spells in my deck, and I still just, like, get flooded and die every time. I don't know. Now my opponent's going to have mana up, and I can't really protect my thing with Flusterstorm. What was the reason for not forcing Frog? You want me to force... What? Why the hell would I force Frog? Did I even have Force for Frog? I'm a combo deck. I am trying to win the game with my cards. If I'm forcing my opponent's 2/2 do nothing, that's just losing strategy. Didn't I force a swords on my mentor before Frog? Or no, that was after. Yeah, I don't know. I have to win the game. I can't just not lose the game. Sure. I've somehow managed to trigger this Bowmaster multiple times, which is impressive. These are insane cards. So I guess let's see if we can figure out how to win from here. I'm gonna be at 8 life. My opponent is at least somewhat representing Hardcast Negation plus maybe another counterspell over the top. If I play Lotus and play Citadel, I have to put these 2 cards back on top, and then I'll be at 8 life with a Yogwill going down to 5 life. Yeah, almost doesn't count here. It has to either kill them or not kill them. I think I'm going to have to cast the stock up off the top. Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to do anything else other than take this to the dome and then play Lotus and Citadel and hope it's good enough. This would have been a great draw like a turn earlier, but what's my storm count? 3. I have to hope they don't have double counterspell. Feels very unlikely. I also need to get rid of this mana crypt if I'm going to be taking 1,000,000 damage off my citadel here. So maybe I wasn't allowed to do this. I mean, I'm always taking 3 damage regardless, unless I fetch, which I'm never doing there. Trying to like see if we can build out towards Yogwill in a more constructive way, but might just be too hard. Opponent has something. I don't know exactly know what they have. They have Force of Will? And we chose not to Force of Will my Bolus Citadel? I see. What does that mean? So if I go to 2 and I cast Yogwill, do I have any way to get rid of my Citadel? Oh, wait, they're at 10 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? We're still pretty far away. I think this has to go, and I have to cast Yogwill off the top. Talarian? Do I have a land? I feel like I must. I do. Ancestral Recall target me! Alright, I will fluster your Ancestral. Glad I held my Flusterstorm. If I win this game, I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to win this game. Just resolves. Okay. I still can't Ancestral out of my yard. I have stock ups. I have time walk. If I can get 10 permanents, I win. But I don't have... I think I should fetch. Yep. Immediately found a Mox. Soul Ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't want to play Bauble first because I don't want to... So I think I am just going to cast Stock Up. That goes the deepest. There's a Jet and a Flow State. There's a top on top. That's got to be enough. What if they have swords on their own guy? I have Fluster in my yard. So it shouldn't matter. I don't think I'm supposed to win this game. How did I get a Citadel to resolve? I don't know. I don't understand. What was that? Game 1? Game 1. Okay, so we're playing against another Frogger. Let's do the same plan as last time. I mean, maybe they just thought my health was too low to matter. Like, to be fair, if I don't have exactly Yogg-Will, I'm still probably not winning, right? I have to have, like, either exactly Yogg-Will or, like, 5 Moxen on the top of my library. So they could have, you know, conceivably thought that Citadel doesn't win the game. Should I add? Does Pastimes have a thing I can add? Pastimes Twitter. Pastimes online. Oh, events. Pastimes events. They haven't tweeted since 2025, so. Probably no point. Okay. I mean, that's a keep. We got lands. They mulligan to 6. Let's see what you got. Mental misstep. Spell Pierce. That's fine. I'm gonna go with Basic Island. I'm not actually sure Tinker's a good top deck there to Jordan. It's like pretty tough to realize value out of this Tinker in like the next few turns. You know, send me whatever slide you want. This Vexing Bauble protecting my Prismatic Ending is quite nice here. White, blue. Don't have an instant to turn on Flow State yet. Hard Cast Negation for the opponent is available. Interesting. I think I'm going to just play this Time Vault out. If they want to negate this or counter it or whatever, I don't really care. Okay. I wasn't expecting that one, but that does work. Bowmaster Twister me. Okay, Underground Sea. So they have 1 unknown in their hand. Now they'll have 2 unknowns in their hands. We're getting close to the point where we can crack Bobble and cast... cast Tinka. So they have an Underground Sea and unknown cards in their hand. And they're not buying Luris. If I crack this, can I see if they have a Bowmaster? All right. I think I've constructed a way forward here. This is a bait for the negation that I think is in their hand. And then I have Tinker. That or they have nothing in their hand and they just were pretending they don't have anything. They have something, so they didn't buy Luris. That's true. They didn't counter Citadel last time. That is true. But we know their hand is Underground Sea, so they have to have 1 other card. It can't be Force of Will. It can be Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, Negation, Bowmaster, Bluff. Negation? All right, I think I played this perfectly. Now I get to hold my, I held my land drop, and I have Mana Crypt Tinker. I like how I played this game. I played this game great. Do I want to cast Brainstorm in response to this? I guess so. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm going to draw these cards anyways, so it kind of just goes one card deeper for 1 mana. So maybe that's not a good use of our spell. I could go land, play Mentor. That doesn't seem good. Well, I mean, we're unlikely to have a blue mana, but I guess we'll have one later. Doesn't really matter. Let's be real here. This looks fine. It's probably just wins. What is the best way to win? Tinker for top. We only get 7 draws. I guess we have Vault Key. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have enough. Let's. We know my opponent's last card, so this game is locked. Yeah, Tinker, Vault Key. Okay, I really like how I played this last game. I don't know what the first game. The first game felt pretty bad, and I don't know how we won. But this second game here, I feel like we just made all the right calls and baited with the right spells to play around the right representation. It was good. Welcome, 5th and final round here with our Tinker deck. So far, so good. We lost one rough matchup to Frog, but we beat Frog in the rematch, or not, pseudo rematch. Beat up a Dredge player and a Raker player, so not bad. Another Luris gamer. His hand seems very reasonable versus Luris Frog. Not as good versus PO. Or Breach. Let's hold up a land here so we don't get wastelanded. Underground Sea, go. Okay. Strand, go. Nothing from the opponent. It's a frog. It's a frog. We've got our nice, clean answer to frog. With good backup as well. And the ability to play stock up into no swords, spell pierce. Time walk. Time walk into flow state might be better. Probably not. It's really hard to cast stock up against the spell pierce deck. Yo, GG's. I think flow state is quite powerful. Wow, that's actually quite hard to choose. I think I like Soul Ring Ending. Interesting. All right, 7 cards from the opponent still. That's a good enough messed up target for me. Brainstorm's a pretty broken magic card. Misstep back. Ancestral over the top. Brainstorming before Ancestral is kind of wild. Force Pitch Dig. All right. Brainstorm's a lot less valuable the less cards you have in your hand. But baiting misstep makes sense. Sapphire, Wasteland. Not great for me. Black Source down, and I can still get my either of my things Spell Pierce if I don't draw mana. Did not get Spell Pierced. Don't want to run this Mentor into a removal spell with nothing to gain, so rather cast Flow State. Those are quite interesting cards as well. Okay. Just kind of want to not get Wastelanded again. Snap Ancestral. Sure. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh boy. I am about 1,000,000 cards behind. The games where Frog has Ancestral are very different from the games where Frog does not have Ancestral. Thoughtseeds? I see. These cards have lined up very well against what I've been trying to do here. Uncounterable stock-up's pretty good way to recover, though. Yogg Will. Saga. Yogg Will. Flow State. Great cards. I don't have a black source. Makes me kind of want to just take Saga Flow State. Yeah. All right, well, we're like clawing back. Key fetch, I guess. Opponent has 5 cards in hand still. There's a Wasteland immediately for Saga. What does that mean? Does that mean Time Walk, Wasteland my other Tundra so that I can't kill their frog? Okay, opponent just misclicked, as they said in chat. Could be a game-losing misclick. Is this a treasure cruise? Holy shit, we've been outdrawn in this game. Actually, it's kind of funny. We have the same amount of cards missing from our deck. But I feel like my opponent has drawn way more cards than me. I don't know. I've lost another mana crypt flip, which is not ideal. I feel like my opponent is leaving open Bowmaster here, but I don't know if I can... I hit Time Vault. Okay. I don't think there's any reason not to go for it. They're tapped out now, so I take 1 extra damage here. I just have to beat my own mana crypt, which I can Prismatic Ending that they know about, so I guess we win. The Wasteland didn't end up mattering, which is nice. This Vexing Bauble was nuts. Super good. We're just stealing games. I think we've had no business winning some of these games, and we're just completely stealing them. All right. 3rd Lurrus match with Frog in a row. Same plan. Yeah, I mean that game was the perfect example of what I'm expecting out of Flow State Saga in terms of like Flow State and Saga kept up with Ancestral, Snap Ancestral into Treasure Cruise. Like granted the bobble was part of it for sure, making opponents like Forces not online, but like we kept up. When my opponent cast Treasure Cruise, we had gone through the same number of cards. I I'm increasingly feeling like Flow State is a game changer. It's very hard to quantify, but no, not in the commander sense. It's very hard to quantify the impact of the card. It depends. Like the thing with stock up is it created and launched basically a whole new archetype to the top of the metagame in Luris PO, right? And I don't know that flow state creates a whole new archetype. Like maybe it rejuvenates like a cantrip based deck. Um, but it might just like push forward some of these. Like to me, the thing that's tested the best hasn't been Ponder. It's been 4 flow state, 4 stock up, 4 Lorien revealed, full Moxen. That's what's tested the best for me so far. I mean, it made a somewhat of an impact in the Ponder Doomsday deck, but it's like super hard to tell because Doomsday's so broken. I've been struggling to fit flow state into Esper Luris, the lister type. Yeah, I think it's hard to fit. Like, I think it's hard to fit flow state into Frog. Um, the Frog deck is kind of looking for different things. So I really like I said, I don't really like Ponder, but like Lorien Revealed is a hell of a Magic card. So like full Moxen Lorien Revealed flow state stock up might be a shell. Like the thing is like you can't really play this shell and play PO, so you're like kind of stuck in the Tinker area. So that's the only thing I'm like I don't know how to feel about. Yeah, I mean PO is a extremely flawed Magic card, right? Like PO is very strong, but PO is flawed. You need a bunch of stuff to get PO going. Where flow state, you don't really need very much, you know? Opponent has mulligan to 5 here. I like my chances if I have double removal spell flow state saga against a mull to 5. We'll see. But like, also like this doesn't have to be your shell, right? You could cut these card disadvantage tutors and mentors and tinkers and time vault, and you could maybe play like trainers and Flame of Venor and Fourth Air Linges and just like play control. So I don't know. Like maybe flow state makes this kind of big blue controlling deck work. It pushes PO even further away from combo and by eliminating the POs, but like the PO style deck, it's really hard to tell. It's too early. Lots of people are testing. Well, he refuses to put 4 stock ups in his deck, so. All right, we need to think about our sequencing here. I'm gonna bait with this jet and see if I get a spell pierce. I didn't. I'm gonna play a saga. I'm gonna make them have a wasteland on their mull to 5. If they had kept 7, I don't think this saga is the right play. But this also protects our Tundra, which is going to be very important in this game. So Been to cruise with sewers. You have a wasteland? No wasteland. It does pinch me a little bit though if they play frog here, in that I can't make a construct right away, but like you need to make a choice maybe that of is flow state and like maybe like say we make our like our Jeskai trainer control deck. Is flow state and trainer better than playing frog? Might be. Frog has to hit to draw cards. Trainer just needs to resolve. Flow state just needs to resolve. Something to think about. Also, if people are going to be playing for flow state, for stock up for Lorien, the power of Pyroblast goes up substantially. The power of Flusterstorm and Spell Pierce go up substantially. Well, yeah, I think Trainer makes PO better, but like the best part of Trainer, in my opinion, is turning on Flame of Anor. That card is unbelievable. And you could do that without trainers, right? You could play for Tamio, but none of your spells draw cards, so I don't think Tamio's very good in Vintage. Like the worst card in the PO deck is PO, isn't it? But yeah, I guess you could just play like Breach. It's probably fine. I just don't like playing Breach is my problem, but like Breach is the best card in red, so it goes naturally with saying Pyroblast is good, right? Lotus is a interesting draw here. Did they drop Twister? Needle. Man, if this is Needle is bait to make me use a Saga so they can Twister. Well, I have to fetch no matter what. I feel like I need to just let the Saga tokens go because I'm gonna win this game if I don't like get twisted, right? I'm just letting this go. It sucks that I'm gonna lose out on Saga tokens, but losing the game to Twister here is like one of the ways I actually lose. I don't know, like, why would you crack Lotus too? Like, very odd. They already put Cruise in their yard, so it'd have to be Dig, but I mean, we're in a pretty bad spot to Del spell. We're kind of just like in a bad spot in general, but I can get the Vexing Bubble down to turn off like Luris Lotus, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the answer. It's a very odd sequence. So I'm trying to figure out. Yeah. I think the construct play made sense for us. But if the construct play made sense for us, like maybe no, I think I always have to hold up here. I can at least swords and not get spell pierce as well. We're still on this needle. I don't know what else my opponent could possibly name, so maybe they disconnected or something. I don't know. Okay, Urza Saga. Do you have Twista? 2 cards left. Nothing. You're not even gonna buy Luris. So confusing. So confusing. Okay. I'm gonna Swords this Bowmaster anyways because it'll let me brainstorm with my Saga trigger. Maybe that's greedy because like I'll have to use the white source to play to kill Frog anyways, but then I can go Bobble, kill Frog. I can maybe, I think it's fine. My opponent only has 2 cards remaining. They're caught on mana now because they used Lotus. Very odd. Very, very odd. I don't understand. Okay, sure. So I'm going to draw, and then I think I'm going to brainstorm with the Saga trigger on the stack. Get a bunch of mana and go... Oh, I guess I have to get white mana. Maybe I don't brainstorm then. Because I have an uncounterable prismatic ending on this Frog. What is the highest value play I can make? I could just go Lotus, and then I can cast a bunch of spells. Ending turns on sorcery for flow state. So I think I just like brainstorming. Can I win? If I get key, I'm super short on mana. I could tinker. Let's see. 1 mana, 2 mana, 5 mana, demonic tinker. I only lose to Mindbreak. I have a top in my hand. So it's pretty guaranteed to win. So I'm just losing to Mindbreak. I can play around Mindbreak by playing Bobble first, but then I can lock myself out too easily. And by too easily, I mean I lock myself out. So, okay. I mean, I think I'm down for that. Yeah, I think I'm down. I don't think I'm losing this game if this doesn't work either, so... And it's just Mindbreak Trap. And we win. And Daze? I guess so, yeah. And they're out of here. I don't know. That play might be wrong. Like, picking a line that can lose seems pretty silly when we have the ability to just, like, go Vexing Bobble, Prismatic Ending your Frog, cast Flow State. So it's probably, like, more of a content line than a correct line. I think if I was in a tournament, I would say get Lotus, play Vexing Bobble, Prismatic Ending Frog, and cast Flow State. That's what I think is the better line here. This is more of a content line for sure. Okay. So 4-1. We went 2-1 versus Frog, having 2 pretty solid 2-0s and a rough 0-2. This is our first major test of flow state in a Tinker Shell. It looks good. It enables 6 to 8 forces really well. I think 4 flow state, 4 stock up, 4 Lorien revealed is a very strong core. It allows you to play a ton of 1 mana instants to add to your sorcery core. And then how you win with it, I'm not sure matters a ton. Like I said, if you wanted to maybe like cut Vault, Key, Demonic, Vampiric, Mystical, Mentor, like and play something else, like I don't know, you could play Initiative creatures, Blue-White Initiative. You could play Trainers plus Flames, maybe a 4th Aerlinges. But this whole idea of big blue Moxen plus the 12 strongest sorceries printed in the last however many years, it seems like it has a lot of legs. I did just stream and put up on YouTube a video with a blue-white control deck. It was using Luris, and that's another thing you can do as well, because you don't have to play Mentor, Tinker, Karn. Flow State, Stock Up, and Lorien Revealed don't prohibit you from playing Luris. So I played basically this kind of deck, and then I played removal spells, more counters, and then I played Wan Shi Tongs, and played like a big blue control deck. This is what it looked like. This one was 2 traps, some more removal spells, 4 hole negations, some drains, and then you're just winning with Wan Shi Tong, Luris, and Saga. And this worked as well. This I feel like is less good because it's like a very much a less vintagey deck where it doesn't give you free wins the way the deck like this gives you free wins. I don't think that Prismatic Ending was the correct card here, but it wasn't actually bad. I don't think Prismatic Ending was bad, but I would maybe consider like Portable Hole instead. Though Portable Hole doesn't play well with like Flow State and Stock Up as much, or Flow State as much. I still think it's just a super strong card. So yeah, more to come, but I think Vintage is actually in a place of exploration right now. It's not clear how Flow State is going to affect the format. Is it going to make new decks? Is it going to make decks that already exist better? Yeah, you could play Breach. You could play Luris and Breaches, and then maybe sideboard some kind of non-graveyard based plan like Quarry Steelcutter or Psychic Frog. I feel like that's a little sad because I don't want to play Breach, but like Breach is a very powerful thing, and it will allow you to play Pyroblast, which is an instant, turns on your flow states. But yeah, no, that's totally reasonable. Breach is another way you can go here. You can go Breach and Tinker and Vault Key. Like you can do anything you want. The world is your oyster as long as you play 25 blue cards. More Flow State for sure, and more vintage content coming on this YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you then.